So when you've finished any one of your edits, you need to export it in a format that you can upload to YouTube. So that should be the place you're embedding your videos. When you put stuff up on YouTube, you can put it there as an unlisted video, which means that not everyone in the world will see it unless you want them to. Don't put it as private because it means I won't be able to see it, but you can leave it as unlisted and then embed it in the blog. So once you've finished your edit, if you go to File and Export, then Media. So make sure you've got the timeline selected. Then in here, it's basically going to have a bunch of settings that you can modify. You can either export out a QuickTime movie or an MPEG-4, but I prefer the QuickTime format. So export out a QuickTime movie. For the output name, if you click on this, that's where you can decide where you're going to save that sequence. So if you want to drop it on the desktop or something, then you can decide what your file is going to be saved as and save it there. And then for the export video summary, what we're looking for is the video codec that's being used to compress the video. So here I want my video to be QuickTime. I want it to be to match the source, I think. No. Hold on a sec. Oh, we might need to do MPEG-4, yeah. If you select H.264, yeah, so select H.264 as the format, that's the compressor, and then it's going to export out an MPEG-4 file. So normally match source or high bitrate will be what you want, and then really what I'm looking at when I'm exporting out is the settings that I'm getting here. So it's 1920 by 1080, which is what we want. It's 29.97 or 30 frames per second, and progressive, that's important. You don't want it to be interlaced. If it says interlaced there, then you need to change some settings. We're exporting the video and the audio, and we are not worrying about effects. For the video, we don't need to change anything here. That's all okay. It's the same as these settings. And the audio is 48 kilohertz, which is good. And then we can see it matches our source pretty much, so 1920 by 1080. The only thing we might change later on is to increase the bit rate. So the maximum bit rate here is 12 megabits per second, which is, if you're doing stuff for broadcast, then it should be between 35 and 50 megabits per second. So this is a good quality, but it's not a great quality. So there's a difference between the different qualities that we can have. And basically we can increase the bit rate if we want to down here, but I wouldn't worry too much about that at the moment. You could bump it up to maybe 19 or maybe 25 if you wanted to. So you can just type that in and you can see it changes up here when we do that. So the target is 10 megabits per second, but it's also going to go up to 25 megabits per second. So we could make that, say, 15 and the maximum 25. Okay, and that's really the data rate that it's going to export out as. When you upload to YouTube, YouTube makes different versions of your video. So you get the high quality full HD one, but it will also give you like a 480p one and a 720p one, so different kind of variations of that. Okay, and then we're probably only going to be exporting one video at a time. Oh, we can modify the range that we're exporting here as well. So if you haven't edited your whole video, then you can make a selection of what you want to export. So you can change that selection here as well. Okay, so I'm going to shorten this so it exports quickly. Okay, and then if we hit export, it's going to render first the audio, and then it's going to begin to encode it, and reckons it's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to do it. Okay, so yeah, the format H.264, which is giving you an MPEG-4, and then those settings that I've kind of run through will be good for what you need to export out.